Hello, and welcome back to Let's Get Lit. In today's episode, we'll be discussing Chapter 13 of the Odyssey by Homer. Previous chapters are on YouTube for your listening pleasure. Please catch up before continuing on, so that way you're always in the know. Chapter 13 starts out with Odysseus finishing his story, and everyone is enthralled. The king tells everyone that it is time for Odysseus to get home safely. He tells everyone to bring gifts for Odysseus tomorrow before he sets off. Everyone agrees, and they all go home and sleep. The next morning, everyone brings their gifts to Odysseus, and the king makes sure everything is stowed safely on the ship. They then go back to the king's house and have dinner. They eat dinner, and Odysseus keeps waiting for sundown. When it approaches, he makes a lovely speech to everyone, thanking them for all they have done for him. The king and queen send him off with servants to the boat. The servants make him a place to sleep on board the ship, and Odysseus falls asleep. The crew takes their position and row to Ithaca. The men rowed all night, and by morning they were in Ithaca. They docked the ship and carried Odysseus, who was still sleeping, blankets and all, onto the shore. The crew then unloaded the treasures from the ship onto the shore. They stored all of these behind a large olive tree so that no one from the road would be able to see it and steal it. And the men sailed back to their native land. Poseidon sees Odysseus get home safely and is pissed. He goes to Zeus and tells him that people aren't respecting him. Zeus tells him that he is crazy and asks how people aren't respecting him. Poseidon tells him that he allowed Odysseus to get home safely, but did not think that the Phaeacian people would send him away with so many gifts, like he'd come home from battle or something, and completely unharmed. Zeus says that Poseidon should discipline his people. Poseidon says he wanted to do so, but feared Zeus's wrath. Zeus tells him to just do it anyways. So, Poseidon goes to Scia and waits for the boat to get back. When it gets close to shore, Poseidon turns the boat into a rock. The king sees this happen and reminds everyone of the old prophecy. He says that they must go and get 12 bulls ready and stop giving people escorts home. The leaders of the Phaeacians gather around Poseidon's altar and make sacrifices. At the same moment, Odysseus wakes up and Athena has made the day very foggy. Odysseus is wondering where the hell he's at. He curses the sailors for just leaving him in some random country. He then counts all of his treasures to make sure the sailors didn't make off with anything. Odysseus counts and finds that nothing's missing. He starts walking up and down the shore to look for someone. Athena comes to him disguised as a shepherd, and Odysseus is overjoyed. He asks Athena about the land and where he's at. Athena tells him that he is in Ithaca, and Odysseus was again overjoyed. Odysseus then tells Athena, still disguised as a shepherd, a made-up story of where he was and where he came from, telling her that he has killed many men and that he has asked for a ride home from Crete to another island and somehow managed to get to Ithaca. Athena calls him out on his bullshit and changes into a woman. She tells him to stop being foolish. She knows he's Odysseus, and she tells him that she's Athena, the one who's been guarding him and helping him the whole time. She tells him that he needs to be very careful when going home. Don't talk to anyone, don't tell anyone you're home yet, and that he'll have hardships to deal with, but he has to deal with them. Odysseus says that it is hard for him to know when she is helping him because she takes on so many disguises. Odysseus then asks if he really is in Ithaca. Also, where was she when he needed her on her trip? Athena tells him to stop asking stupid questions and ask more important ones like, how's his wife, or son, etc., etc. She then begins to describe Ithaca to Odysseus, and she lifts the fog a little to show him. He sees everything she has described, and he's overjoyed. He also asks if his son will or has made it to manhood. Athena tells him not to worry about that. They next come up with the plan to hide his treasures in a nearby cave. They brought everything to the cave and hid it successfully. Athena put a stone in front of the cave for protection. They then sat and thought how to end the suitors. Athena tells him that she's going to turn him into an old beggar so no one knows who he is. He is to go back to his estate and meet up with the pig herder and stay with him. She will then go to Sparta and fetch Telemachus. Odysseus asks why Athena sent him to Sparta if she knew Odysseus would come home soon. Athena tells him that she sent him so he could have a good name. She then turns him into an old man and they part ways. Odysseus went to his estate and Athena went to Sparta. This is the end of chapter 13. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you come back for future installments in this series. Have a great night, and as always, stay lit.